So every Wednesday, Master Gardener Ed Sourdiffe gives us gardening tips, and this week he's going to show us how we can start thinking about our spring gardens in the wintertime. Ed, it's always a pleasure to have you here.
It's good to be back.
So what do we need to consider?
Well, this time of year, people are putting their regular gardens to bed. We have the gourds and everything here from our gardens that went all summer. So now it's time to start thinking about springtime. So this is a perfect time of year to get spring bulbs in. This is the only time you really do it. So I brought a couple things here to show you.
So you were saying planting spring bulbs in your actual gardens right now for the spring?
Yes, this is what you do. You start planting them now, then you let them stay in the garden all winter. They'll be putting out their roots throughout the winter, so they do the work for you through the winter, and the springs they come up right for you. Now, right now, it's a little bit late. You can start planting spring bulbs in about September when they come out into the stores. But right now it's November, but you can still plant them. The ground's still thawed, and there's plenty of time to do it. And there's excellent sales right now. There's like 50% off, 75% off, so you can get a lot of bulbs. But that's why I wanted to tell you, the later you wait in the season and you go out to buy your bulbs, the better deals you get, but you should check your bulbs to make sure that they're a healthy bulb. Like you see, we have some tulips here. It's a really healthy bulb. It's firm.
So you're looking for firmness. What about color or anything like that?
Yeah, well, you don't want it to be shriveled. Okay. Like pruned up because it was out too long, and you don't want like it black from mold or mildew. It would make it a bad plant to get.
Now, Ed, do you have to wait a certain amount of time before the ground hardens and frost? Do you need to give that maybe 2 weeks just in a non-frozen garden?
Well, the earlier the better, because you're actually going to be letting the roots get out there. But you can plant right until the time that the ground freezes. I've actually planted daffodils after the ground froze a little. I remember prying up about an inch of soil that made like a slab and then planting my daffodils because I got a really good bargain later on in the season.
You have to.
So that's what you want to do.
Could you start these inside? Let's say you find a really great deal and then the ground freezes. Could you start them inside?
Well, you can put them in other pots, and you can put them in a cool space, and you could do that, and then they could go out into window boxes. People do that for that reason. There is things to tell when you do go buy. I've actually bought this at a grocery store for $1, and there's 5 bulbs in it, so you do want to look at what you get. But you can see this was it's a pretty small daffodil. Now this one I bought at a garden center here, and it was a little bit more expensive, but you can see the main bulb is much larger, so you'll get a flower right away, a larger flower. And you can see on the side here, they have what's called an offshoot. So this is actually your spare extra bulb.
So you're getting 2 for the price of 1.
2 for the price of 1. This will be a little smaller this year, but it'll get bigger as it goes through. This is why later on you would want to divide your bulbs up in the garden to give them more space, because they're always going to be putting offsets, more flowers for you.
Gotcha.
So you get, it goes along with time, and it gets better and better for you. Daffodils are actually one of the best things to have in your gardens if you have problems with any kind of rodents, chipmunks, mice, moles. Everything likes to actually eat bulbs. So
good.
That could be a problem.
It's because they look like onions and garlic together. I don't blame them.
Yeah, and in winter, they're going to want something because there's nothing else out there. But a daffodil has a certain kind of chemical in it that actually repels those animals. They will not want to eat the daffodils. I mean, if it's a horrible winter, they eat anything, so they might get into that. But they will not eat this as easily as they would eat a tulip or other bulb.
But you have a little tool here now. This is going to help us get rid of the rodents, right?
Yeah, this is basically, I just bought some hardware cloth. This is an old beat up cage that I've had in the ground for years, and I finally was redoing a bed, and I found it and I took it out. And all you have to do to make a cage like this is where what you're going to do is you're going to actually dig a hole in the ground for the cage. You're going to put your bulbs in like these tulips in there, space them out, and then bury it in the ground. And
so this is going to be fully submerged in the earth? Yes,
and actually I would put another a topping of hardware cloth on top like that, and that'll keep anything from getting in. It's really simple to build. I'll unfold this side. You can see all it was basically was a rectangle.
Okay.
And then I just cut these little slats up here and then bent the sides in, bend the top up.
Kind of a similar way that you would wrap a Christmas present or something like that.
Yeah, very simple. And then actually I had this a little longer. Oops.
We'll get to it later. Either way, that's what it looks like, and it's fun. Ed, unfortunately we're out of time, but thank you so much for stopping in and making a mess of the place.
Yeah, thanks. No problem.